Hey guys, so watch just like the first 5 minutes, and then if you get engaged, then keep watching. But then I just kept going on and on. Okay. I was just thinking, this is piggybacking off of what I said in my vlog video about how you've got all these experts, they've all got explanations that make sense. And when I was just explaining this to my friend, the way I explained it is, it's like you go to a church, you go to a synagogue, you go to a mosque, you go to a temple, you go to a tribal site, whatever. All their explanations are going to make sense. Because the brain just isn't that good at knowing what makes sense. Everything's gonna make sense. They have reasons to believe why they believe, of course. They're just maybe not good reasons. So you can be convinced by anybody, or you should be if you're open-minded enough. And I was thinking, the one thing that would solve all the problems in the world, I think all the world's problems can be solved in one day. And it would probably just take, what, probably a minute, okay? From now, okay? So let's see, how do I want to do this? So it'll be like boom, and then like boom. Yo! Anyway, hey, you guys believe B, we believe A. Yeah, man, we're well aware. Thanks. No. How do I fucking do this? Alright. I believe in A, okay? And I see there's a camp across the way. That's us. We're Camp B. We believe in B. So I'm like, yo, we believe that our thing is true. And then we're like, okay, we believe our thing is true. And then I'm confused. Like, oh, yeah, but we have reasons to believe our thing. Okay, but we have reasons to believe our thing. And what if at that moment we were like, right, they also have reasons. We have reasons. Something's weird there. Oh, no. Our reasons are better. Never mind, I tweaked. Our reasons are better. That's actually weird that you say that, because we were just saying the exact same thing, aren't we, guys? Sorry, buddy. I think our reasons are better. Wait a minute. Hey, are you using metaphors and analogies to make your point? Like good ones? Yeah, we've got really good analogies. Like, for instance, because, our belief B is don't do this to a dog because you wouldn't want it to be done to you. Oh, we've got analogies too. It's like, if you're raising a kid, you're going to tell him, before we go to the movies or before you come down for dinner, you better clean your your room. And so that makes sense in that context, so it should transfer over. But hold on, forget analogies. Do you have any anecdotes? Bro, literally, we were just saying that you guys probably don't have anecdotes. Because we both have analogies, but do you have anecdotes? No, yeah, we've got anecdotes. Oh, I'm actually obviously dragging this on a little bit, but in your hearts of hearts, you believe that what you're saying is right? Like, it seems really right to you? Bro, are you bugging us right now? Because literally Sandrine just said that we can tell we're right. And what if at that moment, and okay, my skit went way too long, maybe I'll do it again, whatever. What if at that moment, I wish I could do some mix of the lights, but I can't. What if in that moment, we're like, oh, your mental machinery has you convinced that you're right and you think that you have reasons and you're not just a fucking idiot. I've got that. Maybe I shouldn't rely so much on my analogies and explanations and and then you ask, well, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna figure out which is true? And Camp B goes, I have no idea. Camp A doesn't either. There are all sorts of beliefs. It's Camp C, Camp D. Nobody knows. And then someone comes who doesn't live on a camp with a whole bunch of people and they're settled there. Damn it, I shouldn't have used the word camp. I should have used like institution or something, because camps can move. So a backpacker comes along. Too bad we used the word camp. So imagine something more permanent than a camp, a real settlement. A settlement, okay. So then this backpacker comes along with a tent in his bag, and all the settlers are like, hey, do you think A, B, C, or D, or E? And he's like, I'm not sure. And they go, well, what do you mean? He goes, I think it might be P. And they go, wait, first of all, you're not sure, okay. But how did you get to P? How did you decide? Because they had analogies, we had analogies, they had reasons, and we thought, who can? And he's like, well, I studied the world. I just looked at the world and I tested it. I was like, hey, could A be true? Let me try this. Let me see whether the world, the Mother Nature, the world that we fucking have in common, as I said in my other vlog video, let's see what she says. It's not, who am I? I don't got truth in here. Who am I? Let's see what Mother Nature says. You know, you thought A, you thought B, you thought C, you thought D. Hey, let's figure it out. And then you realize, wait a minute, that's all very obvious what you're saying, Eris. Except nobody actually does it. Nobody questions their reasoning, and nobody, you don't know any biases. List more, list 3 biases, list 3 biases, list 3 heuristics, list 3 fallacies. Wait, can I do that? Confirmation bias, inaction bias, oh no, that's a heuristic. Availability heuristic, representative heuristic, and then there's the when things are easier, when the font is easier to read, whatever. Okay, let's go back to biases. Come on, we have more biases. Come on, we can do more than 3. Oh, okay, whatever. I'm making my point. I'm pathetic. I'm just as much of a fool. I mean, hindsight bias. Okay, hindsight bias, confirmation bias, inaction bias. Oh, those inaction, yeah. What else? I almost had it. Fluency heuristic, or fluency bias. I don't know. Anyway, okay, so I can't think of them off the top of my head. But that's my point. That you're not gonna be able to do any better than me. Well, if you are, that's amazing. But then, do you use that? Do you say, hey, look, so there's 2 aspects to understanding anything. There's reason, the steps between the things, and then there's the things, evidence. So evidence, there's the information that you have, and then reasons, the steps, and how you get from that information to a good conclusion. And so if you guys think that you have steps and that you're interpreting it correctly, and I think that as well, okay, so what do we do? So we need to look at our steps, and we need to look at the information that we have, and we need to look at our reasoning. Okay, j'ai trop rentré dans les détails, mais bon. So, and so what if we were just like, okay, so we need to study our world and be skeptical of ourselves. Okay. Can you imagine? The whole world would change. It would all be over. I mean, all this shit would be over. It'd be like, hey, so mask. I keep saying this thing about personal liberty and stuff, but you've got your thing. Does what I'm saying actually make any sense? Oh, there's the black and white bias, oh, no, that's a fallacy. The forced choice fallacy. There's the fuck it, I'm gonna stop trying. So yeah, and so, oh wait a minute, this personal liberty thing I'm saying, does that actually sort of make any sense, or is it just a soundbite? Am I actually, personal liberty is important, let's say that's some information. Masks are important, let's say we accept that information, because that's just information. So now I have to balance between personal liberty and masks. Okay, well, I have this urge to just say, yeah, personal liberty, boom, soundbite done, but what if that's bullshit? What if it makes sense to sacrifice some personal liberty for what if I were just in my house, so it's not a political issue at all, it's just in my house, and someone is sick, and it's like a really bad thing, do I have them keep their distance? And I mean, I would, yeah, because shit's contagious. Yeah, you know to stay away from a zombie. So then why am I not? Oh gosh. Oh shoot, I've been making a mistake. And the world would be better. I gotta redo this whole thing, but no, I'm just gonna put that video maybe, and then anyway, the whole world, all the problems in the world would be solved if people were just like, let's rely on the information, let's ask Mother Nature what's true. And also, let's watch how we interpret things. Let's make sure that we avoid certain traps, because it's easy to fall into certain traps of misinterpretation or something. I don't know what I'm trying to say. And the world would be solved. That could happen in a day. Not actually. But if everybody just watched this video, this is how I'm going to say the world. This video, if everybody just watched this video and was like, hey, but it's not going to make a difference. That's the thing, because I've been saying this stuff for years to the people closest to me. They're still religious, they're still believing this, that, and the other. And you know, of course, religion, they'll protect it with the faith thing that, oh, it's a choice that I'm making. Nobody's actually making that choice. I don't even believe that. You have evidence, you just know it wouldn't stand up. So you're saying, you know what, I don't even need evidence. There's no way that your brain has actually thoroughly, fully accepted this faith thing. We're just not wired that way. I don't think that we're wired that way. I've never thought about this, but I don't think that's possible. I mean, if you ask somebody why they believe it, they don't bring out the faith line until they're pressed against the wall. I mean, if you ask somebody why they believe it, they don't bring out the faith line until they're pressed against the wall. They'll say, you know, there's things I've seen, there's things I felt, there's things I've experienced. They'll say, where else could the world have come from? They'll give all these explanations. And then as you sort of brush them aside with the ease that I do, they go, oh, you know how I was just justifying my... Actually, I don't even need to, so... You lose. Yeah. All of that, they were just hurdles to get to here. Which is actually that none, I don't need any of that. Yeah. I just like made the choice. Like, I just believe this. What? Nobody makes that choice. Nobody just says, I just believe that this is the case about the world. That's such bullshit, isn't it? Maybe I'm gonna change my mind about this completely after I think about it some more, but that is striking me as sort of the most patently, obviously crazy idea. This idea that people choose. I mean, I guess it's no surprise that people believe this, because there are also people that believe that sexuality is a choice. So if a straight, you know, person who has never had interest in another man, a straight man who has never had interest in another man, can believe that there are these people who are choosing to have interest in men, or these other guys, you know what I'm trying to say. Then of course they could believe that, what was I talking about? What was I just talking about? They could of course believe that we choose, oh come on, oh yeah, choose to believe in a whole world. I mean, that's, oh wow, come on. There's nobody who, only a very self-assured, confident person. But even they've had their communications with God, so they still know He's real because they have reason. But I mean, how often do you ask somebody, oh, hey, why do you believe that? Oh, it's just a choice. Yeah, my parents made that choice, so I was just like, okay, cool. This is what's real. This is what life is. This is who's above me. This is what's right. This is what's wrong. So I was just like, okay, sign me up. Nobody sees it that way. It's true to them, right? And I don't believe that it's true to them. They're so far away from any kind of choice making. They feel it deeply in here. And I feel like the only way that the brain could accept something as true like that, I don't think it could do it by choice. It has to find reasons. We're smart enough. I talk about how stupid we are. We are smart enough to at least want to feel like we have a reason for believing in something. I mean, you see how it all ties together, right? So we're smart enough to see how we're smart enough to feel a need to have reasons, but we're just not smart enough to evaluate those reasons well. So we all have these reasons, and they're all really shitty reasons, and nobody's looking across and going, you're certain of your thing? It really seems right to you? And when you explain to other people, it makes sense to them? Shit, my thing too. Everybody in my bubble says the same shit. How could that be? Because I know I'm perfectly logical and reasonable. Oh, that's it. Right. Because, of course, we are the only people. And I don't mean we. I mean I, but used in the general sense, is the only people who is logical and reasonable, right? Everybody else is misinterpreting the facts. Oh, God, you're such an arrogant... Aren't they? Oh, my God. We're all such arrogant pieces of shit. I would be so impressed if someone said that really obvious thing to me. And maybe you know this. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Tell me in the comments if it's like everything I'm saying is something that you've known. But convince me. Try to convince me. Because what I'm seeing from people's behavior, nobody knows this. Nobody seems to know that we have interpreting issues with evidence, basically, right? That we're not reasonable. And everybody's reasonable except for everybody else. And that's what I like to say. This is supposed to be like a 2-minute video. But thanks for hanging out with me. But yeah, that's so, I'm bugging, bro. Like, that's so crazy. Just in pretty much all of history. You know, I'm telling you that, no. This is how it is, man, because if you think about, and here I'm going to give you my explanation. If you, if she would have been able to say, look, here's why they say this, and here's what's wrong with what they're saying. They're falling for this heuristic, bias, fallacy, whatever. They're succumbing to whatever. And so they're making this logical, but of course she didn't talk about any kind of fallacy. So they have their reasons, and we're just not even going to address them. But I got my reasons. I got my narrative that makes sense. Bro, narrative, that's a good word that I should have introduced earlier, because that's something that you can connect to things that you've already thought about. Yeah, because everybody's got their narrative, right? I mean, and they've seen this in criminal justice, that a coherent story is better than an incoherent supported course of narrative, I guess. So a coherent narrative is going to be more easily accepted by a jury than a seemingly incoherent but evidence narrative. Like, let's say it's just like, wait, but so he had to have gone from this city to that city in only 30 minutes? It's possible, but that doesn't really make sense to me. And then he's supposed to have, waited out in the rain for 5 hours, and nobody saw him. Yeah, and then you've got video evidence of him like arriving there, and video evidence of him like walking into the building, and it's like he stood out in the rain. I don't know. That kind of seems incoherent to me. And even if it's evidence, research will shows that you can find like where a story is coherent enough to be preferred. No, where let's say your actual story is incoherent enough for a more coherent story to be preferred, even if your story is supported. So it's insane, bro. And nobody sees what's wrong with the world. Nobody sees it. I mean, not nobody, right? When I speak like Trump like that, I'm speaking like me. That is really what I want to say. But of course, I know that some people see it, but it's crazy. There's no conversation about like, here, and in none of these YouTube videos, right? These people will have hundreds of thousands of followers, and they never say, here's why they think this, here's the logical fallacy or the bad information that they're using. There is sometimes when people use information, like autism and vaccines, people will say the reason that they think that autism is caused by vaccines is because of this article that was written in the 70s or whatever about refrigerator moms. No, fuck, I just confused the two explanations for autism. Okay, so the reason that autism is caused by bad parenting or whatever is because of this article. Or no, there was another article about vaccines that got it wrong or something. Anyway, so when you can explain why other people think this and the error that they're making, and also be careful that you're not making errors yourself, then that's when you know that you're on the right track. So we got to sit down. Hey, you guys, come over from your settlement. We need to be a little bit more flexible. We need to be able to move around a little bit more. Come over here, guys. All right, so let's talk about this. So what are your reasons? Okay, I think you're making an error there. And you sit down and you really discuss it. When have you ever had a conversation? I don't even know that I've ever had a conversation like that. I have had a conversation like that for like there will be like a period of time where I'm able to get to the other person to focus on just a few one idea, a few facts or premises or whatever at a time, and just or one premise even at a time, and you just focus on that and you say, okay, let's see, is this a fair step from our previous premise, and is this supported by the evidence? And you just go through premise by premise. I think there have been moments in conversations where I've been like, okay, let's just take that one piece of what you're saying. For instance, I was this Catholic guy, we were talking about gay marriage, and he was saying that that he was saying not that homosexuality is choice, but that we're raised to become like homosexual, and I was like, so were you raised to be straight? And he goes, or no, and that was his point. He was like, yeah, I'm raised to be straight. All my aunties were always asking me, well, when are you going to see a girl, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, okay. So let's just take that one thing, that homosexuality is something that sexuality is something that we are taught. Let's just take that one point. Before we discuss all the other issues in gay marriage, let's just take that one point. Who taught Neo? Who taught Neo to chase bitches? Let's discuss this one single point right now. You're saying sexuality is taught. My question to you is, well, what I'm implying is that no one taught Neo to do it, and he does it, so why would it be different for us? So then we take each of those pieces. First of all, did anyone teach Neo? Were there some examples? I don't know. Was he somehow taught that? And all dogs? We're probably going to find that no. So then, okay, so it's in his genes, in his biology. Okay. Now, why should that be different for us? So now we say, okay, what do we know about the human brain relative to the dog brain? What do we know about sexuality and how it works in the brain? Okay, well, it's a very primitive structure. It's dictated by this, that, and the other. Okay, there's probably parts of the neocortex that are involved, but how much are they involved? Okay, so we probably have base desires that compel us to certain shapes and hormones and so on. And look at that. And we really got into it. We sat down, we got into it. When I talk about gay marriage another time, it's been coming up a lot recently. I guess I've been hanging out with a lot of religious people. This girl, later in the day, because her argument was like, a man... Okay, pause, because right now I'm about to go off on a... It's not a tangent, it's relevant. But what I want to say actually in this moment was that this girl, after we talked about gay marriage, I was rolling a joint. But I wasn't sure whether I just want to roll a cigarette or whether I want to put hash or weed in there. And she said, well, don't put anything in it. Oh, I've already explained this in a video, but I don't know whether I published it. In French, weed is referred to often as la bœuf, and hash is referred to as shit, which is the American word shit, and they say shit. And so she says, do you know what you're smoking right now? That's sheet. Do you know what that is in English? And then she probably realized, oh, he probably does know what that is in English. And she goes, you're smoking, and she says in French, you're smoking poop. Obviously, I'm not smoking poop, but that actually worked for her. I talked about earlier the faith thing. People aren't making choice. Like, if I cornered her, she would probably just say, oh, it's just a choice, a personal choice that I don't do drugs and I don't think they're good. But before she gets cornered, where she pulls out this faith bullshit, she uses what she considers a reason. I don't know whether you can see my eyes. Not that you need to. Whether that she considers a reason. She says, you're smoking poop. But of course you're not at all. And everybody does this. Both sides of the political spectrum, everybody does this. The things they say are bullshit. We just don't notice that they're saying bullshit because, A, we like the conclusion that it leads to, and B, because our unconscious is like, yeah, that checks out. Her unconscious was like, yeah, that checks out. You're smoking poop. It checks out. I'm not going to think about it anymore. My unconscious was like, yeah, okay, cool. That makes sense. Right? And anyway. When I talk about gay marriage another time, it's been coming up a lot recently. I guess I've been hanging out with a lot of religious people. This girl, later in the day, because her argument was like, a man and a man can't teach the same things as a man and a woman. Stop yourself. Hold on. But can they teach the same amount of things? Okay, so we just take that one little point. Is it as important that they learn things from a traditional cis male and things from a traditional cis female, or is it just important that she has role models and that she learns? Let's dig into that. So what do the studies show? Do studies show that kids that don't have blah blah, how much have we been able to learn so far? Maybe we don't have all the answers yet. Of course not. Well, not of course not, but probably not. So now let's take a look at, so then what risk are we willing to take then? Because if we don't know that it's actually that important for it to be a man and a woman, and also how long have we had this whole concept of a household? For thousands of years we were living in settlements where kids were raised by villages, right? And you've got school, and so I don't know that this is making sense, but I don't think we should trust my instinct. Let's see whether it makes sense. Well, first of all, how much time do they actually spend with their mother and father? Oh, very fucking little? Oh, kids actually spend very fucking little time with their mother and father usually? That seems important. After that, also a Muslim and a Christian, or a Muslim and a Jew or something, are going to teach different things from a black person and a Hawaiian person, right? So isn't it really just about the quantity of information, the love? Let's kind of work on that. Let's focus on that. But by the time you've done that, everybody's upset. They're like, oh, you just want to prove that you're right. No, let's get into it. Let's figure out what's right. Fuck, I did not mean to rant. Okay, so this is where I'm going to put the beginning of the video. Hey guys, so watch just like the first 5 minutes, and then if you get engaged, then keep watching. But then I just kept going on and on. Okay, good. All right, anyway, so, okay, good night.
But no, I don't check my messages. I don't get an alert about it. I don't find out about it.
Subscribe. Subscribe. Subscribe for more.